Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barrocks here, the digital storyteller, and I just want to make this quick video to show you a new set of filters that I picked up for Final Cut. They are created by a company called Vamify. Now, Vamify does a ton of different types of filters and generators. They create it specifically for editors so that you can have a lot of different textures and layers. So for instance, I have a project right here that I put together. It's just kind of like a video intro to who I am. And let's take a look at just some of the things that I was able to kind of include, and then we'll break it down and I'll kind of explain to you what you actually get in the pack and how you could potentially use it maybe for your next project or for some other personal project that you have going on. So as you can see, I created sort of like a VHS type of look and vibe, almost like a degrading VHS tape. And the thing I love about this sort of retro VHS look is that it is sort of in right now. It's trending, and you don't have to go back to filming on analog tapes in order to get this sort of look. You can film like I have, clean HD video clips, but then you can just add elements on top of your video, and depending on the way you use the blend layers, it'll give a different effect. Now, the first area here is kind of what I call the lens flare and sort of the light distortions. So you get about, what is this? This is 8 here, 9, 10. You get 10 of those, and this is really to emulate, like, if you've ever seen like old school cinema film, at the end of any sort of reel or at the beginning of a reel, you'll always see some sort of light leaking like this with a little bit of specks on the film. The next area that we have is what I call the VHS area. So these elements actually reflect the authentic VHS distortion that those of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s had to go through a lot with and had to see a lot with. And anytime we saw any of this distortion, our hearts dropped to the bottom of our stomachs, because we knew that something could be potentially wrong with our VHS tape, and we would have to drastically figure out a way to save the footage or transfer it to another tape. Then we have a few smaller things. So we have, this is a kind of a mixture of distortion and bars and tone. For those of you that don't know or have never been into TV, bars and tone is basically for broadcast television. And the reason why you would have bars and tones is to establish the right color palette for broadcast television, as well as the right audio palette for broadcast television. So we have a TV noise, we have noisy, we have a couple sound effects here, right? So these are some of the sound effects here. We got tape sound effect, rewind, tap, what is that, tape deck there? That is tape is rolling. So there's a few different types of VHS sound effects that you get that are included as well. The first element that I used was my bars and tone, because I want to kind of give a certain vibe to it. And then I jump right into this sort of blue play screen. Now the blue play screen, if you've ever used VHS, there's always a blue play screen. I don't know whose idea it was, but that's kind of what always happens. So I kind of wanted to do a throwback to that. But then also I put a series of audio clips that I got from this package as well. And up here, remember we talked about the light leak slash lens flares? I used one of these just as almost like a film burn. And under clip settings, I went to blend mode and I went to screen. Now, if you just leave it normally, then it can be a little challenging, especially if it's normal at full percent. That means it's opaque, meaning the clip is not see-through at all. What we want is we want it to be slightly see-through so we can actually see the talent or the actual video clip under it. So let's take a look at a couple other areas. This blue distorted element is one of my favorites because it really reminds me of back in the day when your VHS tape was about to die or tear. It always had this sort of blue and greenish weird streaks. So I kind of emulated that again. And what I did was I took a little part of this element and then I went over to screen again and I just press screen, but you can use any blend mode. This is add, this is overlay, right? So it gives you a different sort of look at what overlay is. And then if I change the opacity, that's another thing. This is soft light, hard light, vivid light. As a company, Vamify suggests that you use screen for the best effect. And I found that to work really, really well with pretty much all the elements. Any element that I use, I always use the screen and it works really well. So as you can see, the Vamify VHS Elements pack is actually pretty nice to use. Overall, I find it easy enough to use. It does what it says and what it advertises. The only caveat that I have with this pack is that you should know it's not rendered in 4K, so that the clips are kind of lower resolution, and obviously that's for obvious reasons, because this is supposed to be emulating VHS, which VHS was never in HD. But I do find that at times it can be a little too degraded and it doesn't look as good, especially if you're using footage that is 4K, that is 6K. This is really not a bad pack to pick up. So check it out. There'll be links below in the description, and you can actually check out what the pricing is and see some of the other products from Vamify. Well, this is the end of another Cinecut tutorial. I hope you learned something and you had fun doing it as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like what you see on my channel, please consider subscribing. Heck, you know what? Just subscribe right now. It'll be worth your while. And I promise you that I'll listen and that I'll create content that will be useful for you as a digital storyteller. Until the next time, peace.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barrocks here, the digital storyteller, and I'm super excited that you took the time to watch one of my videos. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind liking, subscribing, and sharing my videos, I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Peace.